Hello and welcome to Wise Guys Sports here with Matthew from Boston. We have some breaking news to report. Legendary offensive coach who basically, in my opinion, he kept his thumb in the ship with the water coming through. There were so many times the Patriots had offensive lines that, at the beginning of the year, it was just like, how are they going to protect Brady? We have the greatest quarterback of all time, and the protection is, is trash. They weren't trash. They ended up being coached up and well, but there would be injuries, a couple trades, and there's many seasons where we were very suspect of the offensive line. And when Scarnecchia came back, all of a sudden, all that got shored up. It wasn't really a problem ever since he came back. So I highly respect Dante Scarnecchia, and I see a couple people like on Twitter like upset that he listen. He had already left the game, and he came back for Belichick, and in that span. Look at how many Super Bowls we went to, how many Super Bowls we won. 2 out of 3 Super Bowls. So, if that's correct, when he came back. And he's retired. I'm curious if they're going to promote from within. I'm sure that he had somebody under his wing that he was mentoring. But who knows? We might go from from another. We might go from outside the organization. But automatically, I think not just me, but a lot of us, where our mind goes is, well, what now? What's going to happen? What does this say about Brady's future? The fact that the offensive line coach, let's say Brady was to stay another year. You don't think Dante would stay another year as well? Just like McDaniels is staying another year. When I saw Josh McDaniels was staying another year, I thought, okay, Brady's staying. Now seeing Dante Scarnecchia leave, I don't think it says as much as McDaniels leaving or going, but I think there's definitely something there to bite into, and it makes me question what's really going on. And I had called into a station the other day, a station that I love, a station I am loyal to forever, and I said, since what I call the Palace Q, when Tom Brady basically, along with, the only reason he was able to pull off, when you pull off a coup, we made it a Q because it's a funny story. Instead of saying coup, I said Q by accident because I was just trying to get to the next point. Anyways, so it became a joke, the Palace Q. Anyways, the story of that was basically Brady, along with Gronk. Now, just them, that's not enough against Belichick, but they had the backing of the owner, and that's everything. You get the backing of the owner, that's it. That got Gronk his contract. That got rid of Garoppolo eventually. Because Brady felt like, hey, with the TB12 method, I have so many years left in me. He basically, the way I looked at it, I was like, he better give us like at least 3 years. And that's what he's done. But I thought by now we would have some kind of contingency plan. And we don't. This kid, the kid, I don't see him being our starting quarterback and us being relevant at all. We trade Jimmy G. We could have got a first-round pick. We're talking high first-round pick All right. Most likely, probably the 12th pick. Then we pass up on Lamar Jackson for Sonny Michel. Or was it Isaiah Wynn? Wait. No, I believe it was Isaiah Wynn, then Sonny Michel. Which, running backs are a dime a dozen. Unless you have an Alvin Kamara, one of these special running backs. And I do understand the league is starting to go more so. Running backs are having a slight reemergence, but in the end, I still think it's one of those positions that yes, they can come straight out of college and make an impact, but I hate to diminish what they do. I mean, but if I'm just gonna tell it, they're a dime a dozen in my opinion, unless you get a real special one. Sonny Michel, he's good, and there's a lot of running backs in the league that are good. We always have. We've never been in a position where we don't have a running back that's at least okay to good. Even Blunt. I mean, he's not good, but we made him look good. We've had success. I worry about the Patriots not having a plan after Brady. I mean, we've had the best situation in football. And yes, we went to 2 Super Bowls since getting rid of Garoppolo. Well, guess who's playing this Sunday in a Super Bowl? Garoppolo. And I got called crazy for saying I would rather go with Garoppolo for 10, 12 years than Brady for 2, 3. And I said, even though we went to 2 Super Bowls, won, which is great. That's great. I mean, that's that I'm very happy about that. But what would be even more important to me, and honestly, I think with Jimmy G, I don't think we would have went to 2, but I think we would have went to 1. I really honestly do believe that with the defense, with some of the players. I believe that. I mean, look at how he's performing in San Francisco. Had he started that year when he first got there, remember he went undefeated, and then he went the whole beginning of the next year undefeated, and then he went the whole next year undefeated for so many games. I mean, his record with the 49ers is off the charts. And we knew it. Here in Boston, we knew Jimmy G was the next guy. And if he wasn't our next guy, he would be someone else's next guy. And we were thinking Cleveland because Cleveland had the most to offer. Okay, Belichick wanted to put him in a place where he could actually succeed. Well, why not at least, I mean, I do feel bad for Belichick because what Belichick wanted to do is what I wanted to do. Go with Garoppolo and make that tough decision of parting with Brady. And at the time, you still could have got something for Brady, a lot for Brady. But they went with Brady. We went 2 Super Bowls, 1, and now we're in a position we went from that Palace Q to a callus and a coup. I'm Portuguese, by the way. Coup means ass. And a callus is a pain. That's what we got. We got a pain in the ass now. We don't even know who's going to be the quarterback next year. Even if Brady's the quarterback, we don't know what the future holds. Instead of those 2 Super Bowls with 1 winning, and I know to people in other states that sounds like, spoiled. But you know what? We have a great system here in New England, and it works. And someone like Jimmy G, I think that we could have had a double another dynasty with another quarterback continue. Maybe dynasty is a strong word, but another run of winning seasons, being in the playoffs every year, couple Super Bowls, maybe 3 Super Bowls, like winning 2 out of 3, something like that is what I would expect. He's already in the Super Bowl this year. I mean, he definitely has a great team around him. Unbelievable defense. A lot of great things to say about San Francisco. By the way, I'll be giving my pick on the game on Saturday, so stay tuned. Last week we went 4 wins, 1 loss. So we've been killing it. We had only 1 week where we had to pay the book. 1 week, week 14. So we've done very well. And to get back to what I was talking about, though, imagine we could have had Lamar Jackson. Imagine we had Jimmy G. Now, I don't think Jacoby is the man, but still, we had him. And you know what? He turned out to be a lot better than we thought, at least than I thought. Showed a lot of heart. You know, I thought he actually, has that. He has that winning oomph to him. I just don't know if the ability's there. But he could be a starting quarterback in the league, at least for a few years, and then probably be a solid backup. But we got rid of all of them, and here we are, and we have this quarterback that I went and I was watching him in the preseason. Not impressed. Not impressed one bit. So that's the situation here. But I started talking about all this, but really the point I wanted to make was that I want to thank Dante Scarnecchia for all that you did for this organization, for coming back and bringing us to 3 more Super Bowls, shoring up that offensive line. I mean, he would have his hand. He had his hand in so many leaking holes in that offensive line, and they made it work. He had a unique way of coaching an offensive line where all offensive line work as a team. But he had these schemes where he knew his weak points, and he the way he set it up, it was beautiful to watch. So thank you, Dante Scarnecchia. I hold him probably in higher regard than most. Everyone holds him in high regard, but I really think that he was one of the most underestimated reasons for our success. Without that old line, we know Brady starts getting a little, his feet start dancing a little bit when he's under pressure. Understandably so, but he can start to tap dance back there. So with Scarnecchia shoring up that line, I think that really was one of the more overlooked points in this last dynasty run we've had. And I would have loved to have another one. But that would have had to be something where all the Bobos would have to, it's a beautiful thing, like Kobe, and rest in peace, Kobe. But it's a beautiful thing for a player to play his whole career in one city, one team, one organization. But times are changing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not the way it goes anymore. And I would have wanted him to stay had Jimmy G not came on the scene. When you get a guy and he can be the next guy, the only thing I was worried about is he's undersized. I was worried about injuries, especially when he took that hit and he seemed fragile when he got injured that one time. That was my only check mark in the con, that and his size, which basically intertwined. But we'll see what the situation is. We'll see if Brady stays in another year. We'll see if he goes to Vegas. I couldn't imagine him in the black and silver like that. Would we do a switch? Would we Derek Carr? I don't want Derek Carr. To be honest with you, I'm not too thrilled about a lot of these quarterbacks on here. And I'm not that interested in the old quarterback either. I'm really not. I'm looking for a young, solid quarterback that's going to bring us into the future. No hot take. So is every NFL team, right? But we had that. And by the way, I'm not just saying, oh, Lamar Jackson after the fact because he's, MVP and, he's seems like the best player in the league right now. No, I said it at the time. At the time, I was actually interning at a radio station. And at the time, I said, because it was the draft right after, and I said, Lamar Jackson, that's the guy. That's the guy. That's the guy. But I just thought we couldn't get him at the 24th. I thought he'd be gone by then. There was a team around like 19, 20, 21. I was sure they were going to take him. They didn't. And what happened as soon as we took Sonny Michel? I believe it was Sonny Michel. If it was Isaiah Wynn, forgive me, but whoever it was, right? I believe it was let's go with Sonny Michel because I think that's what it was. As soon as we took Sonny Michel at 30, Baltimore Ravens trading, when that douche comes up. The Baltimore Ravens have traded up to 31 and select Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's even more of a slap in the face. I mean, here in Boston, believe it or not, one of our biggest rivals. I mean, it used to be the Colts, but we still have a little bit of rivalry with the Colts because they pull some shady stuff. They try to get us in trouble with the league because we pounded them in that playoff game in the year when they when the whole stupid deflated ball like that matters. We ran the ball down their throats. What's that have to do with it? It just made no sense. That was ridiculous. But anyways, and you know what? At the time, I thought it would put a mark on Brady's career. I don't think it'll have any mark on his career. Yet, I think him going and playing for another team, and if he fails, like let's say he goes, 7-9 with the Las Vegas Raiders. Sounds weird. Ugh. I think it's disgusting, to be honest, the whole Vegas thing. But anyways, 7-9 with the Raiders, with Gruden. He's a quarterback coach, and that doesn't fit either. Gruden is, the type of guy that he's a quarterback coach. So what he does and his whole shtick, was taking young quarterbacks and showing them the ropes, showing them what to do. What's he gonna do with the oldest quarterback? The longest tenure quarterback ever. I believe that's the case. And what's he gonna do with Brady? Well, I mean, he's not gonna be able to. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Although Brady always does, he's been working on his footwork in the pocket, how to slide in the pocket, because obviously he's not quick. So, he found other ways to keep plays alive, whereas Russell Wilson runs in circles and, he gets it done. I admire what he can do. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. He does it in a different way. I mean, he could just take off on you at any moment, like Vic style, but on roids. I think that but it's still early. The jury's still out, but so far, MVP, he's looking great. Could have had him. Jimmy G in the Super Bowl. Could have had him. Where are we? Knocked out by Tennessee, who ended up being probably, I think, an underestimated team based on how they played for the rest of the duration of the playoffs. They ran into the Chiefs, and they had the lead on them, just like every other team. But the Chiefs with Andy Reid, I'm almost giving away what my pick will be. And trust me, San Francisco is no better. Don't forget, what's his name, Shanahan over there. He was the genius who decided not to run the ball with Atlanta when we came back from 28-3. I mean, ridiculous. Oh, Atlanta will never forget that. Oh, that was the greatest of all the Super Bowls. That was the sweetest. I think it was sweet for everybody, but like my daughter had just been born, and I was holding her, and I was watching it, and I was watching us come back. It was a magical experience. Anyways, yeah. So that's our quarterback situation. I don't know. I don't feel good about it. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comments section. You know, this is Matt in Boston, around Boston, known as Matthew in Framingham. I shouldn't even say where I'm from because these people on the internet are freaking crazy. Signing off. Rest in peace, Kobe.